Daily digital news. Bits and bytes connect our world.
We have some very exciting news for everyone who is interested in finding out the latest tech innovations and different inventions that students, business entities, and government entities right here in the heart of Sharjah have been working on this past year. Because today, the Sharjah Innovation Week has officially kicked off, and it's going to be going on from today up until the 18th of February. You actually have 1 more hour left to go for today if you still want to go ahead and head to the University of Sharjah, more specifically the Men's College, to get to see those innovations for yourself. I was just there earlier this morning, and I can tell you it is a place that you just don't feel time pass in. I was literally almost going to be losing the sense of time over there because of how interesting all the different projects are. You walk from one booth to the other just to get to witness different innovations, whether it was in the field of architecture, in the field of medicine, in the field of engineering. Some innovations have been catered to people of determination. Others have been catered to police officers, security forces, you name it. Even emergency services have been thought of over there. So it's such a great place to be, especially if you want to be caught up with the latest tech trends that are taking place around the world. Now, the only thing that you need to have is a green pass. Apart from that, you're more than welcome to go in, get to speak to all the different students as well as government entities that have been showcasing their different innovations over there. It's taking place every single day, starting from 9 a.m. up until 3 p.m. Up until the 18th of February, which would be Friday. And the main aim behind this week is to instill different values of innovation and creativity in government work, driving all sectors to help achieve their goal of sustainable development in accordance with the vision of His Highness Dr. Sheikh Sultan bin Muhammad Al Qasimi, Supreme Council Member and ruler of Sharjah. So we're definitely witnessing different activities that are also taking place. If you are more interested in trying to grow your own tech skills, they're hosting 12 different workshops that kind of go over the most prominent topics in the field of innovation and creativity. They're also going to be partnering with leading government organizations and private entities that will also be presenting about 45 projects and initiatives that also go hand in hand with Sharjah's global position as a center of knowledge, as well as innovation and creativity. So you're looking at all types of innovation being portrayed over there, every field you could possibly think of. I actually had a chance to meet doctors who were creating different solutions that would help people of determination understand from doctors more on what they're about to do, any different procedures. So we're talking about people who are hard of hearing, people who may not necessarily have access to easier forms of medical healthcare services. So you'll find every form of tech there, whatever field you are interested in. And this is only the beginning of such an exciting week for people living right here in the heart of Sharjah to get to witness these different innovations. Now, looking at it, if you're interested in showcasing your own invention, you can also head over there and get some advice from different students who've taken risks, taken different challenges, experimented in different fields, and had their own advice to give as well. Let us know if you're going to be heading to the University of Sharjah, more specifically the Men's College. Over there, you'll get to see the beautiful building that they've actually catered and dedicated to the Innovation Week right here in the heart of Sharjah. We're also going to be sharing the different projects that many students have been working on in the upcoming days, so make sure you stay tuned right here on Future Talk. Coming up, we're going to be taking a short break, but when we come back, we're talking all about the latest iOS update that has actually been focused on fixing a lot of vulnerabilities that many iPad as well as iPhone users have been struggling with. So make sure you keep Pulse 95 locked. We'll be right back.
Pulse 95.
Apps all around.
What's worth a click and download?
Pulse 95.
If you've been wondering if Apple is planning to target those latest fraud issues that we've been facing as Apple users, then you are definitely going to be in for a treat today, since we are talking all about the latest iOS update 15.3.1 as well as iPad OS 15.3.1, which are aiming to fix a critical vulnerability that is related to what is known as the WebKit. So this vulnerability has basically been allowing a lot of malicious websites to go ahead and execute a code on devices such as the iPhone 6 and all the generations after it. So iPhone 6, iPhone 10, iPhone 11, 12, 13, you name it, as well as all models of iPad Pro and the iPad Air 2. So we're also kind of contacting iPad Airs, iPad 5th generation, iPad mini, and the iPod Touch for those who still have an iPod. So as per Apple's statement, this vulnerability has been exploited, but they haven't really shared much details on the number of devices that have been affected and the number of users that have been suffering from a lot of damage because of it. So Apple is also planning to make sure that it protects Apple Watch users. So we're basically looking at Apple Watch OS 8.4.2, aiming to fix the exact same issue. Now, the fix for the iPad as well as the Apple Watch is basically aiming to try and figure out what's happening with the Bluetooth battery draining bug. For a lot of users, what we've been seeing is Apple users have actually been suffering that whenever they turn their Bluetooth on, their battery becomes drained dramatically. So we're talking about a huge drop in battery, even though, let's say, they're not using cellular data as often. They're turning their 5G off when it's not in use, but they're still suffering from, battery drainage. So this has actually been a big concern that a lot of Apple Chat support users have been reporting to Apple. And finally, we're hoping that the latest iOS 15.3.1 will be the final and magic fix. Let us know if you are the type of user who goes ahead and updates the minute a new iOS software update is out there. Personally, I like to take a little bit of, buffer time, safety measures, in my opinion, since a lot of the times the latest software updates can also contain a lot of bugs that may cause some harm to our phones. So my advice, if a new update is launched, give it a week. Don't download it. Let Apple kind of figure out the bugs on their own, and then you can go ahead and download it. But there are also a lot of perks that many beta users get, which are perks like this, where you get a critical vulnerability fixed before everyone else. Make sure you keep Future Talk locked, because coming up on today's show, we're talking all about whether or not you'd be up for a challenge that could give you $2,000 in cash. Yet the challenge might be a little bit difficult for those who are truly, truly addicted to social media platforms. Keep Pulse 95 locked. We'll be right back.
Check this out. Check this out. Pulse 95.
Most of us are on some form of social media these days, and our phones are usually never far from sight. Wherever you go, you have your phone on hand, and most of the time, your fingers automatically, they have now a natural reflex of opening Instagram, opening Twitter, checking up on Snapchat, and then messaging someone on WhatsApp. So social media platforms are always on, and our minds are on with them. So one company has decided to go ahead and give us a challenge. One company is looking to pay you $2,000 if you can choose to quit social media for 2 months. And when we say social media, we mean every possible application you could think of. WhatsApp, Snapchat, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, you name it. They want us to basically have a social media detox, which honestly, it is very much needed nowadays because we're kind of living in a virtual world, having our photos, videos, messages constantly online. I don't remember the last time people have had an honest, genuine, face-to-face conversation without having their phone be right next to them. So one company known as App Uptime is looking to go ahead and give some cash to one lucky, or must I say brave individual who can go ahead, go cold turkey and delete apps like Facebook, and TikTok. That's also in the mix. The main aim behind it is to actually see if for 8 weeks straight we can be more productive and work on our well-being and self-growth by ditching social media. So this is what they're calling the social media quitter experience. They're going to ask you to keep a written and video log documenting your experience. So it's kind of like keeping a little bit of a journal to go ahead and see how is your body reacting to the withdrawal symptoms of letting go of social media applications. Little do we know, we do actually go through withdrawal. First off, it's your fingers going through withdrawal whenever you delete a certain social media app, because that instant reflex whenever you hold your phone is to open one of these social media apps. And now you kind of have to find something else to open. Maybe notes, maybe Word document, maybe start writing a book or start keeping a journal, maybe, creating movies and videos of your favorite memories. It could be anything, but it will force you to kind of reset, detox from constantly being online, and little do we know, it actually causes a lot of internal stress on our minds, especially because you kind of feel like you have to keep up with everyone's life. You have to keep up with what your friends are doing, what your family is up to, all through social media. So they want to see how much can we improve in ourselves, improve in our own knowledge by letting go of the doom scrolling. So they're giving $2,000 for the person who's willing to do that. They're also going to be giving the social media quitter $50 per month to go ahead and cover expenses for any memberships that they may have on certain social media apps. Since we do know platforms like Twitter, for example, have certain subscription services. So they'll pay for that. You don't have to worry about it. All they want you to do is quit social media, because they believe that just like there are so many benefits for using social media apps, there are also many downfalls. And one of them is actually preventing people from actually getting their work done, preventing people from relearning what their hobbies are. And biggest downfall of it all is, as much as we like to think that social media helps us connect to people around the world, it also allows us to, or causes us to, disconnect from some of our closest relationships and friendships. So the question is, would you be up for the challenge if you were given the chance to get $2,000 if you were to quit social media for 8 weeks, 2 full months? Would you say yes or would you say no? Let me know your thoughts. 4215 do it Salat. We're going to be taking a short break, but when we come back, we are going to be giving you some tips and a quick guide on what you can do to prevent smartphone fatigue, finger and hand injuries. You think I'm being too dramatic, but it's actually true. A lot of people do suffer from hand injuries because of simply using their phone for too long. Keep Pulse 95 locked. We'll be right back.
How do you tech? How do you tech?
Phone fatigue, hand injuries, as well as finger injuries. Did you think, or did you ever imagine that using your phone for extended periods of time could potentially cause some serious damage to your fingers as well as your hands? This is exactly what we're talking about, because a lot of people don't realize how much we overuse smartphones and different smart devices and how much trouble it's been causing for our hands and our fingers. In the last decades, phones have evolved from being your standard flip phone to nearly mini computers in your own hand. And little do you know how heavy some of the best smartphones can be. You know, the latest iPhone 13 is pretty heavy on your hand. It's even heavier than the iPhone 12. Samsung devices, same thing could be said, unless we're talking about flip phones, because these can be a little bit more compact. Yet, when it comes to weight, I would believe they still weigh as much as a normal smartphone would be. Many doctors have actually been sharing their own insights when it comes to overuse injuries, especially nerve-related symptoms that people struggle with when it comes to their smartphones. I'm actually coming to you today with one of those pains, you may say, nerve-related pains when it comes to using phones for extended periods of time, especially if you're using it with one hand only. Now, doctors have been talking in a lot of studies on who would be the most susceptible to, let's say, phone injuries, hand injuries, finger injuries, you name it. And many studies have actually been suggesting that heavy cell phone users, especially businessmen, are actually the most in danger of such injuries. If you spend a lot of time gripping or clutching your phone, or let's say typing with one finger, that is one of the biggest reasons why some of your nerves may be cramped up or inflamed over time. And this condition is actually known as the smartphone finger, or texting tendinitis, texting thumb, or even texting nerves. These are different names for the same exact, you could call it a stereotype phenomena. So more specifically, when we're talking about which fingers are at the biggest risk, it's usually your pinky finger as well as your thumb. These are the ones that get the most impact when you're holding a smartphone, when you're holding a tablet. And many doctors have actually been saying that the nerves in our wrists and elbows can even be impacted by the way we hold our phone. So let me tell you a few ways on how you can actually reduce your risk of getting some of those serious injuries. You may not think they're as serious when I'm talking about it, but just to give you a quick roundup, tendinitis is a lot harder to heal than even breaking your own bones. So we can actually give you, or you can actually avoid all these injuries by simply setting a time limit on how long you can be on your phone at a time, or learning how to use and handle your phone much better. So one hand of ours is made of many bones, many muscles, many tendons that tend to connect the bones with the muscles. And when the muscles in our fingers need to make a movement, let's say you want to select something, you want to tap something on your smartphone, these tendons that are connecting the bone and the muscle, they contract, they extend, and inflammation of the tendons are called tendinitis. So the smartphone finger is actually caused by the fact that our pinky is being overused. You're putting the whole weight of your phone on your pinky finger. And this is what causes your finger to actually struggle with a lot of pain, some stiffness. You may even hear a clicking sound when you move your pinky finger. You can actually test it out for yourself as I speak. You may even struggle with moving your finger in a full range when you first wake up in the morning, or you may suffer from numbness in your fingertip, but that's usually the extended case. If you even look at your hand as a whole, the hand that you tend to hold your phone more prominently with, if you're a very heavy phone user, your pinky may actually be indented from the side, and that is what we know of as the smartphone finger. So if you have all those symptoms, one quick fix for it is to first off head to a doctor. That would be the best fix of it all. But another one would be to hold your phone not against the smallest finger. So hold it in your palm is much better than resting it on one of your fingers, because your palm is much more better at handling the weight of the phone. It may be even more common if you have a smaller phone to suffer from what is known as the pinky condition or the smartphone finger, because it actually causes you to be more reliant on the fingers to hold your phone, to bear the weight of your phone. So some quick fixes are to actually go ahead and apply some ice on the finger that is inflamed. If you're accustomed to using your phone with one hand, start reminding yourself and teaching yourself to hold both hands. So don't rely on your pinky as your only support. You can buy some assistive accessories like pop sockets or attachable rings and straps that can actually kind of teach you how to use your phone with your full hand rather than resting it on one of your fingers. Also, it would be great to go for the hands-free option whenever you can. So you can actually activate that by using your device without holding onto it. And that can dramatically decrease the pressure on your thumb as well as your pinky finger. These are just a few tips on what you can do to help reduce the use of your thumb and pinky finger whenever you are using your phone. Another way is to look into buying a stylus pen if you are typically using your, let's say, tablet with one hand. So that would actually force you to have to use your tablet with both hands. Stretch your fingers out. I know it sounds a little bit too extra, but before you pick up your device, try to lace your fingers together and push out your arms as far as you can so that your fingers can get a full stretch in the opposite direction. Try to do it a couple times a day. It will help relax you as a whole, as well as stretch your muscles. And last but not least, plan for some rest. If you're using your device for a long amount of times at a time, go ahead and set an alarm so that when the alarm goes off, after let's say you've been using it for 45 minutes to an hour, you put off your phone, you put it down, and you move on to doing something else so that you can go ahead and give your fingers a break. Let us know if you have ever suffered from the pinky finger phenomena, or the smartphone finger as many call it. Some even call it the texting thumb, since the thumb is also impacted by it. And how often do you feel the pain? I think many of us may not even notice it because it comes and goes in waves. But let me know if you've ever felt it. 4215 do it. It's a lot. Taking a short break, but when we come back, we're going to be talking all about YouTube wanting to enter the world of NFTs. How will we start watching games and watching different shows in the metaverse on that platform? Keep Pulse 95 locked to find out more about it.
Pulse 95.
Apps all around.
What's worth a click and download?
It seems like every social media application out there is looking to enter the metaverse, but more specifically, they're also looking to enter the world of NFTs. Now, YouTube this weekend actually have been elaborating on their blockchain and metaverse plans for the year 2022. They've actually been saying that they may just go ahead and use these technologies to help cut fraud in the digital art making section. So what a lot of us don't see when we talk about NFTs is the susceptibility to fraud, the susceptibility to a lot of cybersecurity issues taking place. And that's exactly what YouTube wants to do. They want to make the most out of this technology, but also cut down on fraud. They want to make the viewing experience become more of a social experience rather than an individualistic one. So what they've actually been planning to do is go ahead and use the power of NFT as well as the metaverse to kind of enter that competition that TikTok, that Meta platforms, Instagram, Facebook, WhatsApp have been doing whenever we talk about the world of the metaverse. Now, YouTube has actually been exploring certain proponents called as Web3 technologies, which are actually, one example of them is the NFTs, which basically are like video clips or art, any other digital asset that would be tied to the blockchain technology. So YouTube is planning to make NFTs become a safer bet. Since in the past year, we've actually seen sales of NFTs soaring, but a lot of critics have been saying that there are a lot of scams, a lot of copyright theft, and many behaviors that are just associated with using NFTs. So they want to create a safe way for us to be able to get and use the NFTs, but at the same time, make sure that they're verified, that they are legitimate. So they want to create a verifiable way for fans to be able to own unique videos, own photos, arts, and even experiences from some of their favorite content creators that could potentially become a compelling aspect for people to go ahead and enter YouTube instead of, let's say, opening a TikTok account. So they've also been prioritizing the use of the metaverse, which honestly, I feel like they're kind of late to the party. A lot of platforms have been pioneers when it comes to using the metaverse, but YouTube, as of right now, does not have any firm ideas on what they want when it comes to involving users and viewers with the metaverse. But they do know that they want the possibility of it. They want people to be able to use the metaverse when it comes to gaming, when it comes to streaming gaming experiences, and they want it to become a lot more interactive. So they want you to feel like you're part of the game, like it's a lot more of a we rather than an I experience. Not just the content creator playing the game, but you as well feel like you are part of the game as well. ByteDance last month have actually launched a mobile app for gathering in the metaverse, and Meta has been spending billions of dollars on virtual, augmented reality technology. We've seen just last week Instagram launch avatars, which are going to be kind of the way we step into the metaverse, having our very own characters that we either make up or are truly ourselves in the social media platform. Let me know, would you be interested in exploring the metaverse that YouTube is planning to launch, where you and the video are one, rather than you being a spectator of whatever it is that you're watching? I'd love to hear your thoughts. 4215, share them all with me, and we're definitely going to be discussing them in our coming show. Future Talk is sadly coming to an end. It's been such a fantastic hour with everyone. I hope you've gotten a chance to find out the latest on what is happening in the world of tech. We've got a very packed show in store for all of you tomorrow, discussing everything about Sharjah Innovation Week. We've got a lot of interviews lined up of some of the biggest innovators, as well as some of the smartest students that have actually come across at the University of Sharjah, the Men's College. If you want to check them out yourself, make sure you head there tomorrow, starting from 9 a.m. up until 3 p.m. You can get to see all those smart, intelligent students, as well as the different government entities and what it is that they are portraying when it comes to the world of innovation. Make sure you keep Pulse 95 locked, because coming up is the halftime show, the only place to be at 3 with the man himself, Omar Al-Douri. He has an exciting show in store for everyone. It's one that you don't want to miss. I'll catch you again tomorrow, same time, same place, only here on Pulse 95.
If you liked this episode of Future Talk, drop a like and subscribe.
Pulse 95.
Be sure to follow us on Instagram for all our daily updates and top stories.